A survey on evaluation metrics for music generation. Faria Bint Cater University of Central Florida Santa Carmaker University of Central Florida. Abstract. Despite significant advancements in music generation systems, the methodologies for evaluating generated music have not progressed as expected due to the complex nature of music, with aspects such as structure, coherence, creativity, and emotional expressiveness. In this paper, we shed light on this research gap, introducing a detailed taxonomy for evaluation metrics for both audio and symbolic music representations. We include a critical review identifying major limitations in current evaluation methodologies, which includes poor correlation between objective metrics and human perception, cross-cultural bias, and lack of standardization that hinders cross-model comparisons. Addressing these gaps, we further propose future research directions towards building a comprehensive evaluation framework for music generation evaluation. Introduction. Recent advancements in computational music research have significantly improved the ability of machines to understand and generate music. Large language A survey on evaluation metrics for music generation. Faria Bint Cater University of Central Florida Santa Carmaker University of Central Florida. Abstract. A survey on evaluation metrics for music generation. Faria Bint Cater University of Central Florida Santa Carmaker University of Central Florida. Abstract. Despite significant advancements in music generation systems, the methodologies for evaluating generated music have not progressed as expected due to the complex nature of music, with aspects such as structure, coherence, creativity, and emotional expressiveness. In this paper, we shed light on this research gap, introducing a detailed taxonomy for evaluation metrics for both audio and symbolic music representations. We include a critical review identifying major limitations in current evaluation methodologies, which includes poor correlation between objective metrics and human perception, cross-cultural bias, and lack of standardization that hinders cross-model comparisons. Addressing these gaps, we further propose future research directions towards building a comprehensive evaluation framework for music generation evaluation. Introduction. Recent advancements in computational music research have significantly improved the ability of machines to understand and generate music. Large language models and diffusion-based models have now the ability to compose and edit melodies, even generate complex musical pieces that mimic human creativity. One such example is Suno.ai /1 a web-based service that, given a simple prompt with lyrics, can generate a full song, adding a singing voice within seconds. While generative models continue to improve, music generation evaluation at a large scale still lacks standardized assessment criteria due to the inherently subjective and multidimensional nature of musical quality. A wide range of evaluation metrics has been proposed to assess the quality of both generated audio and symbolic music scores, from statistical comparisons to machine learning-based similarity measures between generated and reference music. Some metrics also focus on specific musical features, such as melody, rhythm, harmony, and emotional expression. In addition, human evaluation is used to rate subjective qualities like overall quality and prompt alignment, which remain essential for judging expressiveness and creativity. Unfortunately, as we discuss in detail later in the paper, these metrics rarely capture the complexities of human musical perception. The challenge lies in balancing quantitative measures with subjective listening studies, as musical quality is often tied to aesthetic preference, cultural background, and contextual interpretation. While benchmarks such as Marble and Music Theory Bench offer standard evaluation methods for music understanding and retrieval tasks, no comprehensive framework exists for evaluating generated music scores. To highlight the gravity of this significant gap in the current literature, we provide, in this paper, a comprehensive overview of the evaluation metrics currently used in music generation tasks. We examine computational evaluation techniques, highlighting current limitations, and propose a direction for future improvements. By analyzing existing evaluation strategies, this work aims to shed light on ongoing efforts to develop more robust, interpretable, and standardized music evaluation frameworks. Background on computational music. Music representation. Existing music representation techniques deal with two types of music data: audio and symbolic /1 scores to make them computer interpretable. Audio representations like log-Mel spectrograms, MFCCs, and chroma features transform raw audio waveforms into machine-usable formats for generation and analysis tasks. Pre-trained text audio encoders like Clap and Mulan jointly represent audio and text in the same embedding space. Symbolic representations like MIDI, Music XML, ABC notation, Lilliput, etc. represent pitch, rhythm, and dynamics in text or event-based form and are widely used in generating and editing text-based musical scores. To make symbolic music more suitable for machine learning, various tokenization methods such as ReMi, SMTABC, Optable, etc. encode attributes like pitch, duration, and timing data into sequences of tokens. Music generation models. A big part of music computational research is music generation. Based on the representations, recent advancements in music generation models can be categorized into two variations: audio music generation models made sequential advancements from transformer-based models like Music LM and Music Gen to diffusion-based models like Noise2 Music, Moisai, Audio LDM2 and Ernie Music. These models can generate good quality music from textual descriptions. Recent advancements in music generation include commercial websites like Suno Superscript 2 along with open source models SongGen, AStep, and DiffRhythm that can generate full-length songs with proper voice-coordinated lyrics. Symbolic music generation models focus on producing musical scores in formats like MIDI or ABC notation and are capable of generating multi-instrument compositions. Unfortunately, due to the textual nature of the representations, these models cannot produce realistic vocals. Symbolic music generation is particularly useful for music composing, understanding, and editing. The symbolic generation models underwent significant improvements as well, from utilizing GANs, MuseGAN, and Transformers, MuseFormer, to diffusion-based models like SDMuse. Datasets and benchmarks. Music datasets can be binned into two variations. Symbolic music datasets contain musical scores in formats like MIDI, Music XML, or ABC notation and can sometimes be paired with their corresponding audio. With MIDI datasets being the most popular, for example LAC MIDI dataset. Popular examples include LAC MIDI dataset, Maestro, Pop 909, and Million MIDI dataset, MMD. ABC notation datasets such as Nottingham dataset, Superscript 3, and Textune have become popular as well for better readability and editing. Audio music datasets consist of raw audio recordings with additional metadata and are commonly used for tasks such as music generation, classification, and transcription. Notable datasets include MusicCaps, MusicBench, and MuLamCap, which provide music clips with descriptive captions and are usually used in tasks like music generation, music captioning, and retrieval. XEN dataset is usually helpful for genre classification, and FMA for music tagging task. Popular musical understanding tasks. Figure 1 illustrates music-related tasks with their corresponding evaluation metrics. Besides generation tasks, computational music research revolves around music understanding-related tasks, which include a variety of downstream tasks that are briefly discussed below. Music information retrieval, MIR, covers tasks such as key and tempo estimation, genre and style classification, beat detection, chord estimation, instrument identification. MAR Superscript 2 Superscript 3 Figure 1, an illustration of music-related tasks with their corresponding evaluation metrics. Unlike other tasks, music generation evaluation lacks standardized metrics, which is the focus of this survey paper. BLE Benchmark provides a standardized evaluation for 18 such mere tasks. Music question answering involves answering music-related questions based on symbolic or audio input. These models are assessed using metrics frequently used such as BLEU, Meteor, and Rugel, and sometimes human evaluation or LLM-based scoring. Music captioning deals with generating lyrics given audio using joint audio-text representations. Evaluation metrics are fairly similar to music question answering due to the same nature of the output. Music retrieval and recommendation works with joint audio-text representations as well to retrieve relevant audio or symbolic music from textual prompts and usually utilizes ranking metrics such as recall at K, HR at K, and map. Music agents such as Music Agent, Composer X, Loop Copilot are autonomous systems that integrate multiple AI models to perform diverse music-related tasks. Music generation evaluation. Generated music evaluation can be broadly divided into two categories. 1. Subjective evaluation via human judgment and listening tests, and 2. Automatic objective evaluation using computational metrics. This section first reviews objective evaluation methods and their shortcomings, followed by human evaluation methods, and lastly discusses ongoing efforts in benchmark development for evaluation. Automatic objective evaluation. Automatic objective evaluation encompasses computational methods for assessing generated music. As shown in Figure 2, it includes both reference-based evaluation, which compares generated outputs to ground truth references across audio and symbolic modalities, and reference-free evaluation, which assesses the generation's quality and structure on its own. Reference-based evaluation. Reference-based metrics help assess the extent to which the generation is similar to the target reference. As audio music and symbolic scores are of different modalities, signal and text, their evaluation metrics vary as well and are discussed separately for better clarity. Audio similarity evaluation. Most commonly used audio similarity metrics like KLD, Kullback-Leibler divergence, and FAD, Fréchet audio distance, assess how well-generated audio matches a target distribution. KLD measures the difference between two probability distributions. In music evaluation, these distributions are often derived from the outputs of pre-trained audio classifiers, like PANS and PySST, or features, allowing KLD to capture a high-level semantic similarity between generated and reference audio sets. On the other hand, FAD evaluates whether generated audio is plausible in Figure 2. Music generation evaluation taxonomy clean by comparing its distribution to a background dataset using embeddings from pre-trained audio classifiers and measuring their Fréchet distance. Even though FAD is widely used, its effectiveness depends on the choice of audio classifier, reference set quality. It assumes that the audio feature embeddings follow a Gaussian distribution, which is often false for real-world audio, whose feature distributions can be complex and non-Gaussian. Which should be used as the appropriate audio classifier and reference set for FAD is still debatable. Larger reference sets yield more stable and accurate FAD scores, while small ones cause biased estimates due to poor statistical representation. To correct this, f of AD infinity was proposed, which approximates FAD as if computed with an infinite-sized reference set. To tackle the limitations of FAD, recently newer metrics like KAD, kernel audio distance, and MAD, MOV audio divergence, metrics were proposed. KAD uses maximum mean discrepancy, MMD, to compare distributions without assuming a Gaussian distribution, making it more reliable with small sample sizes. MAD also avoids the Gaussian assumption, which uses self-supervised MERT embeddings and k-means clustering to better capture complex distributions. Both KAD and MAD metrics have shown better correlation with human preferences than FAD. This shows that research efforts are being made to create more perceptually relevant objective evaluation metrics. Symbolic score similarity evaluation. Evaluating symbolic music is less standardized than audio evaluation, with many works defining their own metrics and using various symbolic representations. The most common framework, proposed by Yang and Lurch, 2020, which used overlapped area, OA, and Kullback-Leibler divergence, KLD, to compare pitch and rhythm feature distributions between generated and reference sets. OA and KLD can give us an idea of whether the features from generation are similar to the reference set, or to what extent. While useful, OA computes feature histograms over the entire sequence, failing to account for temporal order. To address this, macro overlapped area, MOA, was introduced to incorporate temporal order as well. Additionally, less common similarity-based metrics are listed in Figure 2. Originality evaluation. A critical task is ensuring that generative models produce novel content rather than simply copying their training data. Earlier methods used pattern matching like n-grams, longest common subsequence, and cardinality-based similarity scores to detect overfitting. Recent approaches used exact and approximate semantic token matches and embedding-based methods, such as LAIO and clap embeddings, to identify repeated audio segments, which are then verified through manual listening. Reference-free evaluation. Reference-free metrics address this by assessing two key dimensions: 1. Quality of the generation on its own, and 2. Its adherence to user instructions. Music quality evaluation. Music quality evaluation includes both theoretical and perceptual quality evaluation. It involves assessing the structural integrity of the composition based on music theory as well as evaluating whether the music is aesthetically pleasing and emotionally impactful to listeners. Automatic audio quality evaluation. Even though there is no defined way to quantify audio quality, standalone metrics for perceived audio quality are constantly being developed. Inception score is used to assess quality and diversity but can be misleading if a model overfits on its training data. PAM assesses overall audio quality without a reference by using an audio language model to detect distortions and artifacts by comparing an audio sample against contrasting text prompts, clear sound versus noisy sound. AudioBox Aesthetics is a domain-agnostic model trained on 97,000 annotated clips to predict 4 distinct and interpretable aesthetic dimensions: production quality, production complexity, content enjoyment, and content usefulness. The latest trend involves training aesthetic predictors directly on large-scale human preference datasets. Wang et al., 2025, Liu et al., 2025a, Yao et al., 2025. Human preference datasets mainly contain generative songs that are annotated with human preference ratings. Details of the datasets are discussed in 3.3. Even though newer works have quickly started to adapt AudioBox Aesthetics in their evaluation, show that models trained on their human preference dataset, SongEval, outperform AudioBox Aesthetics in predicting human perceived musical quality. Symbolic score quality evaluation. Symbolic score quality evaluation remains less advanced compared to audio quality evaluation as well. It typically involves manual or rule-based analysis to assess the structural correctness of the score and the quality of the features. A. Symbolic score structure evaluation. These metrics can be utilized to check if the generation is maintaining a proper structure and adhering to the music theory or not. Checking for irregularity in chords, rhythmic consistency, and scale consistency are some ways to check for feature-wise structures in generations, but the use of these metrics is not standardized. Empty bars, EB, ratio of empty bars, and format correctness evaluation are used for calculating syntactical accuracy. Some works checked for repeating patterns in the generated score, as it can indicate music-like structure. B. Feature quality evaluation. These metrics are feature-heavy and may provide some insight into the quality of specific musical features used, however, are no way sufficient to quantify the overall music quality. There is Figure 2 lists the metrics used for checking the quality of chords, pitch, and note and rhythm respectively. Visualizing tools such as spectrogram of generated waveforms, constant Q transform spectrograms, piano rolls, keyscapes, fitness scape plots can be utilized to assess feature quality visually. Adherence to instruction evaluation. Adherence to instruction evaluation measures how well generated music aligns with input directives, which can be textual prompts or structured controls like lyrics, chords, or style, ensuring the output faithfully reflects the intended guidance. Adherence to textual prompts evaluation. For text-to-music models, adherence to textual prompts is typically measured by computing the cosine similarity between the text embedding of the prompt and the audio embedding of the generation. While clap score is common where embeddings are derived from clap models, it is a non-music specific model. Other alternatives like Mulan embeddings, Mookie Mulan and Clamp 3 model showed better performance due to being trained on more music-aware tasks and larger datasets. Adherence to lyrics, phoneme error rate, PR, is used to check how well the given lyric aligns in the generated audio. PER is calculated by extracting the vocal track and passing that to a lyrics recognition model. Shang et al., 2021, evaluated alignment accuracy of the melody and lyrics to ensure structural consistency. Adherence to other control inputs. Control inputs for symbolic music generation other than textual descriptions can affect the selection of evaluation metrics. Some works evaluated fine-grained feature controllability of their models by using few feature-specific metrics listed in Figure 2, but use of these metrics are less common in literature. Style or genre adherence is often evaluated using a dedicated classifier. Since classifier scores only indicate the presence of some distinguishing features rather than true stylistic conformity, Sivka et al., 2019, proposed a more interpretable style fit metric to evaluate stylistic alignment. In emotion-controlled generation, discriminator models have been used to classify whether a generated piece belongs to the intended emotional category. Appendix B lists some of metric definitions and Appendix C mentions currently available toolkits used for evaluation, which were skipped over due to space shortage. Human evaluation. Since there is still no clear method to assess creativity and musical quality, most music genre type evaluations rely on human judgment for validation. Human evaluation involves designing appropriate listening experiments with logically useful assessment criteria involving appropriate candidates and environment to qualitatively evaluate generated music. In comparison-based listening tests, listeners are often asked to compare two or more samples. This can be called a Turing test, where the goal is to distinguish between human-composed and AI-generated music, or a preference test asking which sample is of higher quality. Other than comparison, participants rate generated music on one or more criteria, typically using a Likert scale or by providing a mean opinion score, MOS. Assessment criteria are much less standardized as works usually define their own assessment criteria and can be broadly categorized into these evaluation aspects. Musical structure according to music theory assesses how well the audio follows logical and theory-aligned musical organization. Music quality captures aspects like creativity, harmonic richness, and emotional impact. Adherence to instruction measures how accurately the output reflects the given prompt. Quality of vocals evaluates the attractiveness and harmonic integration of vocals in the audio. Figure 2 has the assessments listed typically used in human evaluation, and Appendix A discusses their definition. A listening test design can be task-specific as well. For example, conducted a listening test to evaluate classical music generation and defined own assessments criteria with respect to the characteristics of only classical songs. Used OpenAI's ChatGPT and Google's Bard to assess the generated music's atmosphere and genre as well as their human evaluation counterpart on these exact metrics. Hypothesis tests such as Kruskal-Wallis H test, Wilcoxon signed rank test, T-tests are done to validate the statistical significance of the human ratings. Benchmarks. Music Caps, Music Bench and Song Describer dataset are often used to evaluation text-to-audio music, TTM, generation models. Ziki Eval's music generation question set offers 184 multiple choice and 205 shot questions to test LLMs on melody continuation, technically assessing music understanding rather than generation capabilities. Several human preference datasets have been proposed music prefs with 183,000 clips and crowdsourced pairwise ratings for fidelity and musicality. Dynamo Music Aesthetics, DMA, includes 800 prompts, 1,676 pieces, 15.97 hours, and 2,301 detailed 1 to 5 ratings from 63 raters. Music Eval contains 2,748 clips from 31 TTM models with over 13,000 expert ratings for musical impression and text alignment. Song Eval is a large-scale benchmark of 2,399 songs, 140 plus hours, rated by 16 professionals across 5 dimensions: coherence, memorability, naturalness, clarity, and musicality. A critical review. In this section, we present some critical analyses of the current music generation evaluation metrics, followed by identifying research gaps and pathways for future research to overcome them. A critical analysis of objective metrics. Limitations of similarity-based metrics. High scores on similarity-based metrics do not guarantee high quality or musically meaningful compositions. Similarity with target distribution simply means generated scores show similar characteristics as the reference set, but no way quantifies if the piece itself is a good-sounding piece or a distuned, boring-sounding piece. Unless it is a controlled generation, syntactical similarity metrics like BLEU, average sample-wise accuracy and chord matchness can easily seem useless for the same reason. Only assessing the similarity with the reference leads to an incomplete evaluation and should be accompanied with reference-free music quality evaluation. Lack of interpretation. Yuan et al., 2025, showed that many widely used objective metrics, Figure 3, a reliable music quality score model, can elevate the current music generation evaluation scenario. Such as clap score, FAD, and KLD, often align poorly with human preferences, which makes the conclusions of prior studies that rely on these measures questionable. A core issue is that these metrics lack clear interpretability. For example, metrics like OA and KLD score are considered as the higher the better, but have no meaningful threshold or guidance for balancing similarity and originality. Similarly, chord progression irregularity measures the percentage of unique chord trigrams, where lower values suggest greater stability yet extremely low values can be interpreted as a boring sequence as well. While these scores can rank models and indicate feature quality, better scoring outputs may not correspond to better sounding to listeners. Overall, objective metrics alone can't reliably evaluate musical quality and risk misrepresenting what truly sounds good without human evaluation. Lack of cross-cultural consideration. A significant limitation in music generation evaluation arises from cross-cultural biases in datasets, benchmarks, and evaluation methods. Mehta et al., 2025, quantified the severe Western-centric bias in 152 musical dataset proposing papers, finding only 5.7% of music comes from non-Western genres, including South Asian, Middle Eastern, Oceanian, Central Asian, Latin American and African music combined. Models trained on these datasets struggle to generate low-resource genres, while evaluation metrics tailored to Western styles may fail to assess diverse musical characteristics and lack suitable training data. For example, FAD's reliance on the choice of reference set and ODIO embeddings raises concerns that it may favor only well-resourced genres. Another example can be, in pitch histogram entropy, a high entropy suggests unstable tonality and pitch classes are more scattered, which may favor straightforward genres like pop but is ill-suited for evaluating microtonal, polyrhythmic or improvisational music from low-resource traditions. Similarly, corpus-based evaluations favor well-documented styles while overlooking culturally unique ones. Wilson et al., 2025, further highlighted limited transparency, with few models disclosing training data or generation methods, hindering efforts to address these biases. Lack of standardization. While feature-specific metrics can be useful for analyzing individual systems, they often fail to generalize, with many researchers adapting their own evaluation criteria. The resulting overwhelming number of specialized metrics make it difficult to determine which are truly effective, hindering clear assessment and comparison of different generative model strengths and weaknesses. Limitations of music quality/aesthetic predictors. For efficiency and growing need of large-scale evaluation, recent works are shifting towards automatic music quality evaluation using aesthetic predictors like AudioBox Aesthetics. Unfortunately, Zhang et al. 2025 highlighted that human preference datasets often misalign with these independently trained aesthetic predictors. This indicates that human preference is not a single, consistent concept, as human perception of creativity is subjective and shaped by geography, history, and culture. Different evaluation methods, even if both are based on human feedback, can lead to contradictory conclusions about music quality, raising concerns about their reliability and generalizability. Zhang et al. 2025 further showed aesthetic predictors favor certain content, with tracks featuring punchy kick or synth. Limitations of human preference datasets. Human preference datasets can introduce bias as they are constructed with generative audios from current TTM models, which often fail with low-resource genres as well. Furthermore, most of the human preference datasets rely solely on overall impression or preference, which is insufficient for modeling human perception of musical creativity. We have to further break down the judgment of creativity into several equal dimensions and employ experts to rate audios across these dimensions. A simple example of why this works is, despite individual taste differences, expert food critics evaluate dishes across equally important dimensions like flavor, texture, presentation, originality, execution, and overall impression. Among the human preference datasets, Song eval broke music quality evaluation into multiple dimensions, but further analysis with music experts is needed to ensure the dimensions are enough to cover all the aspects of quality evaluation. Limitations of symbolic music evaluation. Symbolic music generation evaluation improvement is lagging behind audio music evaluation in both standardization and depth of analysis, largely because symbolic representations lack direct perceptual grounding. While audio evaluation heading towards using perceptual and embedding-based metrics that can align well with human perception, symbolic evaluation often relies on simplistic feature-based measures that might miss important aspects of music quality, creativity, and correlation with human perception. Furthermore, symbolic evaluation lacks standard benchmarks, representations, and validated features, making it hard to compare models or ensure metrics generalize across styles. A critical analysis of human evaluation. Sensitivity to participant background. Designing a listening test can be challenging as they are highly sensitive to factors like variation in participant expertise and uneven participant group sizes, followed by biases due to age, education, cultural exposure, cognitive traits. The chances of these biases increase when participants come from a single background, limiting generalizability. Ferreira et al. 2023 conducted a blind listening test with 117 participants from diverse backgrounds to evaluate their ability to distinguish between AI-generated and human-composed music. Results showed that frequent classical music listeners, musicians, and individuals with high self-assessed musical sensitivity were significantly more accurate in identifying the source, highlighting the need to appoint raters with appropriate musical background and perceptual skill. Experimental design challenges. Aside from participant expertise, design of a listening test is not standardized as well, with factors to consider like sample selection, environment setting of the listening test, and phrasing of the surveys. Environment variations. Confusing phrasing of the surveys and small sample sizes reduce statistical reliability. For example, in their listening test, Schneider et al. 2024 defined musicality as how much the given sound is melodiousness and harmoniousness, whereas Yuan et al. 2024 defined musicality based on two aspects: the overall consistency of the music in terms of melodic patterns and chord progressions, etc., and the presence of a clear structural development with respect to features. With works designing their own listening test criteria and the high cost of large-scale studies is a big setback for standardized, cross-model comparisons. Summary of major limitations. Among the challenges in music generation evaluation discussed in previous section, several stand out as particularly critical. The lack of interpretability and reliability of objective metrics undermines the evaluation's ability to draw meaningful conclusions, as widely used measures often misalign with human perception and lack clear thresholds for quality. The lack of cross-cultural consideration introduces severe biases by favoring Western music traditions in datasets and evaluation methods. The lack of standardization in evaluation methodologies make cross-model comparisons difficult as well. Finally, limitations in designing a listening test for human evaluation weaken the validity of listener studies intended to capture subjective musical quality. Unfortunately, these limitations question the credibility and inclusiveness of music generation evaluation methods, which calls for the urgent need for more interpretable, culturally aware standardized evaluation frameworks. Research gaps. This section identifies 3 open research questions in music generation evaluation paradigm, each illustrating a distinct category of research gap. First, despite extensive study, the question how to model and evaluate creativity in music? Does modeling human perception automatically model creativity remains unresolved, as existing methods struggle to deliver robust or generalizable solutions for capturing the subjective nature of creativity. Second, the question can the existing evaluation methods cater to underrepresented genres is currently understudied, requiring better evaluation methods for underrepresented genres. Third, how can future efforts in music evaluation develop robust methodologies that effectively integrate computational analysis with listener perception studies and task-specific benchmarks? Represents an area yet to be systematically explored with the joint efforts of music experts and cognitive scientists to design a comprehensive evaluation frameworks. Opportunities and future directions. We think there should be 3 components for a comprehensive music generation evaluation framework. 1. Evaluating music quality and structure. 2. Adherence to instruction. And 3. Evaluating similarity with reference, respectively. Figure 3. Future efforts in music evaluation should focus on developing more robust and generalized evaluation methodologies that integrate computational analysis with listener perception studies, cross-cultural considerations, and task-specific benchmarks for these 3 components. We welcome the ongoing efforts to emulate human perception of music through automatic aesthetic predictors and human preference datasets for large-scale evaluation, but significant research effort is needed to break down the concept of music quality and structure into smaller, definable dimensions whose scores can jointly give us an interpretable way to quantify music quality, rather than only depending on confusing terms such as overall quality. We further propose a possible automatic music quality and structure evaluation framework that incorporates the idea of human-in-the-loop training and reinforcement learning to rank the subjective quality of a generated music according to human perception across scientifically defined dimensions. Starting with a pre-trained model on such a human preference dataset, the model will receive original songs as well as generated songs as inputs and predict scores across predefined dimensions of music quality. These predictions can be compared with expert ratings to compute a reward to fine-tune the model. Through this feedback loop, the model can learn to align its predictions more closely with human perception. The catch is to have experts from various cultural backgrounds and use original songs specially for low-resource genres to make the aesthetic predictor model less biased and more generalizable. Conclusion. Evaluation for music generation is still a complex challenge due to the inherent subjectivity of music, as we are yet to discover how to quantify human perception of creativity. With the recent efforts to model human perception with automatic aesthetic predictors, it is at a very early stage where further research with cognitive scientists and music experts is absolutely necessary to determine modular interpretable evaluation dimensions that would quantify overall quality of a music piece. Furthermore, it is equally necessary to acknowledge and address the biases and lack of interpretation present in current music generation models and evaluation methodologies to make music generation more generalizable to the global music community.
from the world of my mind. She was in love with want to decorate the room. The Christmas tree is filled with flowers.